Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we are, another edition of Podcast76. Time rolls inexorably forwards. I'm Ruskeydoo.
And I just burnt my tongue.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
on tea?
Yeah.
To be fair, this is karma because I managed to eat a pizza earlier without burning the top of my mouth.
Oh, so I'm suffering for your enjoyment.
Yes, exactly.
That is. I'm fairly sure that's how karma works.
Yeah.
You reap the rewards, and I get all the pain.
I'll take it. Anyway, Overwatch. Ooh, stuff has happened.
Shall we tell people what has happened?
Sure. Let's go over the summary, shall we?
I think we should.
Good. There's been an update. There's outlines versus hackers. What was D.Va's announcement? An open letter from the Overwatch League Commissioner. Summer Fists and Doom games. Jeff and Jeff. Well, it's Jeff and Joff. Do you pronounce both Jeffs the same?
Yes.
Jeff and... it feels like one should be Geoff. Okay, Jeff and Geoff answer mysteries about Overwatch. And Jeff stay at the forums.
Jeff and Jeff.
Well, I mean, there's only two Jeffs.
Well, there's also Jeff with a PH, right? Jeff's alter ego.
Wait, is there actually someone called Jeff with a PH?
No, it's an old joke where someone at Starbucks spelled Jeff.
Oh, wait,
J-A.
yeah, no, I remember that.
Yep.
Because no one spelled Jeff like that.
No one ever spells Jeff. Well, clearly someone does, but...
Well, someone in Starbucks. But, maybe people in Starbucks just end up writing names wrong just to mess with people.
Yeah.
Maybe. I might do that. See how stupidly I could spell a name. Anyway, the PTR has been updated.
Yes. I think the major thing really was the new highlights.
The loot box thing, I think that's pretty major.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want to cover the loot boxes and then we'll go into the highlights?
Okay, the loot box thing. They've made it so that you're much less likely to get duplicates.
And that's a very nice quality of life change, because getting a duplicate and getting like 1/10th the value or something, just was like, They're
adjusting money amounts so that you're going to get the credits that you need to buy items that you want from special events anyway.
I think they've just realised that for most players, having more items is just more fun.
Yeah.
And
although
overall,
I'm going to throw it out there, for people who play a lot, they're going to clear out all the items pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm fairly sure that I'm going to own every item relatively quickly.
And then it's not going to be like, oh, you might get something new in a loot box, but you probably won't. Then every loot box is going to be like nothing. You know it's nothing. It's just a small trickle of money.
So here's my thought. I'm thinking that this is going to make the loot boxes for events much more interesting, because like that's where you're not going to have everything. Like over time, eventually, you're going to have everything, right? So the event items are going to become much more special.
And you may be willing to spend your in-game cash on them a bit more, and maybe some of your out-of-game cash.
Exactly.
Okay, sure. I'll go with that.
Yep. And the other thing is the highlight system.
Yes.
And this is, we've been promised this for quite a while, and it's finally come out. And I have to say, overall, I am really quite impressed. Saving highlights, very easy. You just bind a key.
Yeah.
Reviewing the highlights, also very easy. The interface is fantastic. But what really got me is just the amount of options that they have for when you render out.
Yeah, exporting them.
Yeah. Like you can do it at 60 frames per second at 4K on a computer that you wouldn't usually be able to do that on, and set it all the way up to ultra, even if you usually can't render it at ultra. And that's just like, it's just really nice, because it just means that you can play at a lower resolution than you usually would with worse options. Yeah. And then end up with it as like top quality. And really, they also do super sampling, which is where you play it at twice the size and then you shrink it down so you get less anti-aliasing.
So it looks super slick.
It looks super good. It looks really nice.
So, and it's cool. I was kind of hoping it would be connected to a system where you could record entire games,
so
like demo
I'm
files.
Thinking that's got to be coming, but I'm also looking at what they've done, and I'm thinking it must be a much bigger job than we thought it was going to be.
Maybe.
Because it looks... You go for it. You go.
Sorry, while this is really cool, I think about how it's going to affect my game experience. And the only way it's actually going to affect my game experience is I think there's going to be even more dross to troll through on Reddit.
Okay, I'm kind of with you on that. But at the same time, I think that what this does is it's just a nice quality of life change.
Yeah, it's more
for
options,
people who
which
can't,
isn't a bad thing.
Who can't do this very often. For me, I'm not going to use it at all. And the reason I'm not going to use
the last 12 seconds, that's on NVIDIA already.
Well, not just that, but because it'd be nice to have some clips super high quality. But actually, what gets me about this system is they have that highlight overlay. You know how at the end of the game, like with play the game, yeah, exactly. It has that highlight overlay over it, and actually that just kills it for me. It just doesn't look that good.
Mm.
And if I was to put something in a video, I wouldn't want that there.
It's not actually that useful if you're going to make a frag vid, right?
It's actually worse it's just straight up worse.
Mm.
The only reason to have it, I think, is so that you can't steal other people's highlights. But I really don't care that much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's a work in progress. It's only on the PTR. It is an improvement over what we've got. I hope this isn't just like where they're going to leave it, but yeah.
Yes, there's still room to expand, but overall, in terms of the implementation, I got to say, 2 thumbs up. Great stuff.
And they actually have a development video which basically says all that we've said about it.
Yes, and for some reason, Jeff was wearing a bright, deep pink D.Va t-shirt thing.
It's right. Okay, this is the thing about this dev vid. It's not actually about the highlight options. You can read them, but this vid is worth watching for what the hell is that shirt?
So where do you get that shirt? Is
I
that
believe
just
it's
like
an ice hockey style shirt?
I think you're right. Or maybe
Because
is it
it
ice
looks
hockey?
huge. It makes Jeff look like a child.
They could have just gotten the wrong size. But no, it does look like it's in that ice hockey or possibly American soccer style. Not
Maybe.
American soccer, American football style thing.
I can't imagine Jeff going out to buy a Starbucks coffee on which they're going to write Jeff with a PH while wearing that shirt. Like, it's just so garish.
I think it's probably Jeff's favourite shirt.
Really?
No.
It's, yeah, just, I mean, I think it's cool. Again, it's more options out there for people, but dear God, what is that shirt?
There will be people who love that shirt.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the thing. I don't think it suits Jeff. But then if Jeff really likes it, then he can tell me to start off. Who am I? I'm just some random dude on the internet.
Exactly.
What does my opinion really matter? Jeff, you wear what you want, and
ignore this British person telling you
weird D.Va thing. I don't even.
So yes, the big conspiracy was that D.Va's voice actor, whose name...
Oh yeah, that business. She had a big reveal on Friday.
Yes, and on Thursday, Jeff was wearing the D.Va t-shirt.
Was that it?
Well, no. The big reveal was that she went to Blizzard HQ to say a big thank you to the Overwatch team. And most of the video is her kind of wandering around Blizzard, and then at the end there's some photos of her with the Overwatch team.
Wait, was that it?
Yes.
But what did she actually sell this as when she said there's going to be something exciting on Friday?
I think that was about it. It's just like, I got an announcement on Friday.
Okay.
But it's for her. Like, I think she looks at it as like, she had a lot of fun, and I know that, it's something that people do, and it's nice for her to go and actually say, look, these are the people who make the game. But it would have been nice for her to talk to them a bit more.
Instead of the kind of secret hype, oh my God, there's a thing coming on Friday, she literally could have just said, I'm going to be visiting Blizzard on Friday, super hyped.
Yes.
Could
have done. Could have done.
So it wasn't even voice lines. I will admit I'm wrong.
I'll admit that I'm also wrong, because I was expecting something more than that. Like, I was expecting something. You were expecting only voice lines, and somehow we both left disappointed.
We've only got ourselves to blame. We built ourselves up, and yeah.
And in the end, it did not even matter. Right. Shall we let's talk about something that does matter.
Outlines versus hackers. What
Yes.
on earth does that mean, Grey?
Well, in Overwatch, your enemies have these red outlines on them. And it turns out that one of the methods that hackers were using to identify enemies was to look for this red outline, because this red outline was a solid RGB color. What they've done is taken that RGB color, altered it ever so slightly, and then the values just fluctuate small amounts over time, so you can't just search for that one red color. And this makes a really big difference to their auto recognition of these red outlines, especially in areas which have like a lot of red in the background or orange or something that interferes with that, with the outline of the red. So that is just like, it's just a small thing, but it's a really cool thing where you're just like, I didn't even know about that.
It's a very kind of specific way of targeting a very specific way of hacking the game.
Yes.
I think it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Because also I imagine that didn't actually mess with Overwatch at all. In terms of there was no process there that actually was injecting code into the game in order to hack. It was
it's
using
extended. They're the like really hard hacks to find. Right?
Exactly. So like countering those sort of hacks, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Good. Although here's another thing, I'm not sure I've ever encountered a hacker in Overwatch. Maybe I have years ago. Really? Recently?
Yeah. Not in a while. I can't. It's certainly not in recent memory, but I have gone against them. But I think also the hackers who are still around are probably like more sophisticated.
So they're probably much higher levels than we are.
Yes, they probably have a higher MMR. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's why we didn't see hackers.
You say that, but I've noticed that there are people who have really, really good aim, and I'm not saying they're hacking them. A lot of them, I think, do just have really good aim, who are playing around our level.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because bad game sense and ability to actually follow up.
I'm going to throw in, I think there's another factor as well. I think our MMR is inflated by us being nice people.
Oh, right.
I think some of the people we bump into who have great aim, but are just, they don't have social skills and they rub their team up the wrong way all the time. I think that affects them a lot.
I actually had a really nice experience earlier today. Well, I say nice. Basically, somebody was raging in chat at our Anna.
Yeah.
And our Anna was not that experienced on Anna. They were playing quick play. They wanted to learn Anna. And they were just like, no, I'm not very good at Anna. I'm just trying to learn them. I'm sorry. And this person was just going completely ragey at them. Like, I just ended up adding them up and just being like, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep playing Anna. Get better. I really appreciate anyone who plays support. And they were like, I really needed that. Thank you. I didn't expect anyone to be like that. I was like, it's okay. We appreciate you.
Raging
You're
in
nice.
quick play is just nutty. Absolutely nutty.
I totally agree. But the best part is they said, hang on, wait, you're a Genji main.
Aren't you meant to be an asshole?
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a similar thing where someone was like having a go. I was just solo queuing and someone was having a go at our Mercy. And I was just like, they're trying their best. If they didn't do a good res, like I didn't see if it was good or bad, but I'm sure they recognize that. And like, how is having a go at them going to make anything better?
Yeah.
And our Mercy was just really thankful that someone spoke up, that, if someone's being an asshole, then
Yeah. Be nice to people. Be excellent to each other.
Exactly.
You make friends.
An open letter from the Overwatch League Commissioner. This is tedious. I'm just throwing it out there.
I totally agree. Like, it's an announcement that there are things coming.
Yes.
That's basically
it is news in that it's an official thing from the League Commissioner, but it's basically just saying, yo, stuff's still going on. Read it if that's your thing. I think
it's just to combat that thing of like, hey, we haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah, does that mean it's all over?
Yeah, I think it's just to kind of like keep the community ticking up. I do wonder if they were a little early with the announcements, or maybe they kind of set expectations incorrectly, because the difficulty with the Overwatch League is that all the other leagues, like players don't want to play in those because really it's going to be Overwatch League where the money is, right?
Yeah.
So they're left
it takes time to set up and stuff, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I worry about their management of this, but in a similar way where I think it's just a lack of experience thing.
Yeah,
they
like
want to
the hype management. They can just start things a bit too early.
Well, as a counterpoint, possibly not, because if you're getting investors to like buy up areas,
Yeah,
then
yeah. So I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe as viewers, like, we don't really matter as long as they're getting the investors in and they're actually making those deals. As soon as they start releasing a product, people either watch it or they won't, and it's probably not that affected by it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's my hope anyway. But yeah,
I could go along with that.
But anyway, so it's there. You can read it. It's really not that interesting, but hopefully it means that things are going to be here relatively soon.
Fantastic. So, Summerfest and Doom games. We're obviously, it's not spoonerizing when we swap around words like that. Spoonerizing is only swapping letters. It's, I don't know the word for it.
Weighing with plurds.
Yes, exactly that thing. It's not even that though, is it? Because you were spoonerizing.
I was.
Worderizing? Doesn't matter.
Move on.
So, someone, while they got an error log thing of the PTR not working. It was the PTR, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was the PTR.
And they basically got a thing saying Doomfist stroke Summer Games thing failed. So maybe Doomfist is coming with the Summer Games.
I think that's a big leap. I don't think you can possibly make that sort of a connection. That could just be the patch name. Nothing to do with the hero.
What?
I'm joking.
Okay. So, well, I mean, my read on this one is what games involve, using fists and punching things. It's clearly volleyball is what it's going to be about.
Oh, you thought volleyball? Mine was like, are we going to get a Street Fighter version of Overwatch?
No, because Summer Games. It's going to be sport.
Oh, it does have to be sport.
You see, it's the Doomfist stroke Summer Games tie-in.
What if it's rugby?
You're not meant to punch people in rugby.
Hang on, no, but the whole thing with Doomfist is those short charges, right? And you probably want to hit someone with this.
That's only if we assume that leaker person is actually legit.
Well, okay, let's say it's close combat melee because it's a fist.
Do we know? Well, okay. There is a suggestion of that from the way that Jeff and Jeff were joking in the video we're going to talk about later. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm personally thinking that if you're not using that fist to punch people, then why is he Doomfist? Why is the fist even a thing?
Yeah, it could just be a fist that launches, I don't know, lightning at people or farming out animals. I don't know.
Now, that's a hero I want to play.
Anyway, that's a thing. It's just a couple of lines of text, so I think we should not read too much into it, but I'm hopeful for Doomfist coming soon.
I'm with you.
Okay, so I briefly talked about this in the last thing, that Jeff and Jeff answer mysteries about Overwatch.
This is a very serious video.
It's not.
No, not even remotely.
No.
You can't straight face over podcasts, can you? Because people don't get the facial expressions.
Well, I mean, you can, but you really have to sell it. It's hard.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. It's reminding me very much of, was it Kotaku or something that just Jeff on his own did a video with, where it was like answering questions from people?
Oh, yes. I think the format for this was better, though.
Well, I mean, they had a PowerPoint with a load of questions in it.
Yeah, but also I think like the editing was better because I remember that the Kotaku
the framing on that one. If it was Kotaku, I can't remember if it was Kotaku or something else.
I'm fairly sure it was Kotaku, but it was kind of awful.
Absolutely horrendous, though.
Yeah, it was really bad. But the editing with this, and I think the questions, the way they respond to the questions was better. People asked things like, what is Torbjorn always listening to on his headphones? And apparently he's listening to Destiny's Child. 2 thumbs up. Good answer.
Yep.
There was a few other just like gems. I'd watch it. I'd actually give this one a watch. I remember the Kotaku one. We were just like, don't watch it. But this one, I would give a watch. It was fun.
There's not anything groundbreaking in terms of information they reveal. It's just lots of nice little tidbits and stuff. But
Absolutely.
Give it a watch if you like the Jeffs.
Don't look too close at the videography. The focus puller misses his focus.
Really? Oh,
yes. God. It really annoys me.
Fair.
I'm guessing they hit autofocus and it hit the closest hard line, which is on the projector.
They must have been so sad when they got home and saw that.
Oh, their editor raged.
Yep, fair. Lastly, Jeff's day at the forums.
Yes.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Thank you. So just a couple of little tidbits, one of which was just Jeff talking about balance and how... And we've seen this, like and he mentions this, but how intricate balance is, where if you nerf and buff one hero, then that actually affects the balance of all other heroes relative to that hero.
Yeah.
And when one hero is less powerful, other heroes become more powerful. So one of the things we've noticed is that Reinhardt is not nearly the staple that he was a couple of months ago. And that's not because they rebalanced Reinhardt. I mean, they did give him a nerf on his hammer, but that's not really...
bit, though.
But yeah, that's not what made Reinhardt much less viable. It was the changes to other heroes.
Yeah, it's just kind of who he's coming up against now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In specific, this post is actually talking about someone saying, does Tracer need rebalancing? And actually, Tracer's not changed at all. It's just Tracer kind of goes in and out of the meta.
Well, actually, interestingly, I think Tracer is the only hero that has not been touched. I don't think Tracer has actually had a balance.
You might be right there, actually. I'm trying to think of all the heroes. Has May had any balances since she came in?
Yeah, absolutely. What? She had her...
her ult was futzed with, wasn't it? Okay. I'm trying to think of what other heroes. Zen's had some minor changes, I remember.
Zen's Discord,
speed and such.
Also his ult movement speed.
Yeah, of course, when he became Zenyatta.
Yep.
I think you might be right, you know.
Yeah. So it's an interesting post if you kind of like think about balance, just as an interesting quick read through, but there's not any real meat in terms of information. But I also just agree with Jeff, and I just think it's worth highlighting.
Yeah. Another thing about this is if you have a character that is now currently quite strong in meta, like Tracer, there's going to be other tweaks with characters. Like, I think Roadhog is going to get another look at some point.
Almost certainly.
Oh, in fact, this is one thing that someone did analysis on. They looked at Roadhog's win-loss rates since the new changes went in, and across the board at every different skill level, he has below 50% win rate.
Well, most heroes should have a below 50% win rate just because of, like, draws. So even if it's just like 49.99%.
Yeah.
But I think his was at like 46% or something.
Yeah, at some levels. I think it went down to like 45. But
my thought about Roadhog is that a lot of people got very used to him the way that he was. And I do think that there needs to be an adjustment period before you can really say how strong is he really.
Yes, I think the thing is, you can't really say that he does anything better than any other hero at the minute. Like, he's just not got a niche anymore, really. Like, before, his niche was this kind of mid-range, close-range sniper.
Yeah.
And now he's... If you want someone to, like, deal punchy damage up from your death ball, then Reaper's better. If you want someone to do consistent long-range damage, then Soldier's better. If you want someone to feed the enemy team tons and tons of ult, then he is your pick. But...
I do agree with you. I don't think he's got a situation where you're like, right, let's pick Roadhog because Roadhog will help.
Yeah.
Because his strength against even heroes like D.Va has just been decreased so much.
Here's what I'd like to see happen to Roadhog, and I don't know how this would affect the balance, but I think it'd be... So if they knocked his hook back to 6 seconds...
Yes.
Because the reason they took it back was because it was a one-shot instant snipe kill. Now that the hook isn't so much of a snipe kill thing, and it's more of a kind of it breaks positioning and might get a snipe, I think that being on a faster cooldown so he can like keep drawing people in, and that's his thing, that he shifts people around.
So kind of, I mean, almost like an anti-Orisa in terms of like Orisa gathers people into one area and he would just pull people out of one area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that working.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Next, on Jeff, on the forums. Swimming.
Yes. So Jeff gets, well, on the forums is asked the question, are we ever going to see any water levels? Water levels being places where you can swim. And Jeff has quite an interesting answer on this, which is basically, I mean, one, in terms of game design, they didn't feel it added anything.
I'm 100% with him on this. If I look back on all of the water kind of combat in every other FPS I've ever played, it's always a bit frustrating.
Yeah, no,
because the buttons for going up and down are never... Like, you need an extra 2 buttons there that you have to be able to hold while holding the other buttons. Like, you want to be able to go forward, strafe right, and go down. And you kind of start running out of fingers.
Yes.
It's just a bit messy.
I'm also totally with this. I've just found like that sort of where you've got the total freedom of movement to go up, down, left, right perfectly actually doesn't often make for very interesting combat unless you've got a lot of speed where you're doing something like spaceships, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But if you're not moving fast, it's actually just painful because it's the movement is very linear.
Ooh, this has just completely reminded me of one thing that I did find quite interesting about the Double Jeff video, which I think I should mention. It was Geoff, and he was talking about what was his biggest design regret. And he kind of basically said it was Genji's double jump.
Yes.
Which I thought was very interesting. I was like, okay, yeah, no, I can see that. Basically just that it gives Genji so much mobility that it makes him very awkward to balance. Like, really awkward to balance.
I say that, but the more I play Genji and the more I play against good players, the thing I notice is that your double jump actually leaves you exposed for longer. Because you hover in midair.
And... No. It depends. It depends. So against any kind of, if they're like any distance from you, yes. But good Genjis do the thing that Scout did in Team Fortress 2. And that's when you're dueling one-on-one and they jump straight over your head. But then once they're above you, you don't want to look straight up because dragging your mouse up like that then means that you have to do a much larger movement to turn around. And then, like, get down again. So they jump directly over your head, so they get out of your kind of frame of vision, and then they change direction on the jump. And it makes them crazy hard to track. So it's not about long-range tracking. It's about when you're dueling one-on-one. That's what makes Genji so... That's what makes the double jump so powerful.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Okay, no, fair enough. That was
a swimming movement.
Yes, back to swimming. But anyway, the other thing that Jeff mentions, Jeff Kaplan, that is that... essentially, they do all the animations by hand. They don't do motion capture.
Yeah.
And so for every hero, they would have to do an entirely new set of movements. And on top of that set of movements, they would have to then add new animations for every ability that they use. And that's just a lot of work.
Yeah,
and would you rather
be such a mess?
Yeah, and would you rather they did that or, say, 2 new heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
more heroes.
Yeah. Also, okay, so other things on this note is that swimming animations use like some real extremities of movement. And this is just kind of like an animator's thing. Like, so if you've got your, character in the T-pose, which is kind of the generic, think of the Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. You have that because it's kind of in the middle of where you want them to move their arms. Say you're doing front crawl or something and they hold their arm right in front of them, like right up by their head. That can create some weird things with texture stretching on it and some of the vertices not working so well. Basically, swimming can, if they have all of their skinnings of their character models and they work fine for walking and stuff, as soon as you start bringing in all these weird swimming animations, it might mean they have to start reworking those, which would be awful.
Yeah, I do remember, like, with TF2 and SFM, like, as soon as you moved someone's arm above, like, shoulder height...
Yes, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Also, there's things like, how do you swim with guns? And would Bastion swim? He's literally made of metal. I mean, I guess, sure.
No, Bastion would have a little propeller come out of his ass.
Okay, that could be pretty cool. But yeah, I just don't think swimming adds that much to games.
No, I'm with you. I don't think it's enough fun for them to really consider adding.
It's like, should they add a thing where every character can get on a bicycle and like ride around a little bit faster and have this weird movement thing?
Oh, so like mounts.
Yeah, we're going into the bicycle section of the map. No, it's just not necessary, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. But yeah,
cool.
So,
sorry, go on.
No, so that's kind of about it for this week.
Oh, I was going to say it was about it for this week. I guess that means it is about it for this week.
I really think, that there's nothing else for us to talk about this week.
I've been Ruskeydoo.
And I've been Grey. Well, nothing that we want to talk about is all I was going to say. Because there's other things we could talk about, we just don't particularly want to talk about them.
Oh, well, I mean, there's loads of things we could talk about, like not relevant to this or, just relevant to our own Overwatching experience, which is so, niche that no one else wants to hear about it.
So how are you?
I've been goodbye.
I also have been goodbye.
God, that was a weak ending.